a content creator that hopefully we can bring some visibility to. This man right here, I couldn't find a less pixelated picture in particular, but this man right here, let me bring him up on the platform. Let me see what he got going on. His name is Matthew Mims. Matthew Mims. He said he quit his job for mental health reasons. I have not watched the video yet because I wanted to react to it with you guys. He's telling a story about why he quit his job. And we're going to break it down. So again, his name is Matthew Mims. If you wind up subscribing to his channel or checking out his content, just make sure you let him know that Anton from AntonDaniels.com sent you. Regardless of whether we agree with him or we disagree with him, we always want to give credit to the content creators, all right? So, Matthew Mims, this is why he quit his job. Last portion of the show. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications, and then make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's get to it.
Today, I am arriving back at my home, and this is a couple of hours after finishing my last day at my job. I quit my job, so let's talk about it. Long story short, I had a situation where I called out and I wasn't able to come in. I didn't get enough sleep before work, and I have been in a few accidents because of not sleeping, and didn't want to run into that situation again. So after having a conversation with my wife, she said the best thing for me to do is to call out. And I hate calling out. I always want to do the best that I can at the job that I'm working, even if the job is a job that I don't like. So I'm not very comfortable with calling out, but my wife said in this instance it made sense. And at this point in
one of the things that I don't understand a lot of times is when people make a decision, it's one thing to run your thoughts by the person that's next to you or whatever like that, because the decisions that you make impact them too. And one of the reasons that you marry them is because hopefully they are smart and they can contribute into the relationship and they got your best interest at heart. But I've never, ever led a conversation by saying, my wife said, or my wife told me, and she said it was okay that I quit. Now, I'm not saying that my relationship is like everybody else's, but I am always curious as to why guys do that. Like, why do they say, my wife said, my girl said? It's your decision at the end of the day. Whatever it is that you decide to do, right or wrong, it's your decision. Why is it your wife that's making the decision for you as to whether or not you should work or you shouldn't work, or you should quit your job or you shouldn't quit your job? You're the only person that can make that decision as a man based off of what's best for you and your family. But that's just my personal opinion. I don't understand that. I really don't understand that part. It's always a my wife said, or I asked my wife if this and that. Listen, you didn't say I consulted, or I got people's thoughts around me, including my wife, in order to understand whether or not this makes sense. It's always my wife said, she told me to do it. Come on, man.
At this point in my timeline of working at this job, I've never called out before. So I gave a call to let my manager know.
Shout out to Chris James. I'm going to be reading that super check shortly.
And coming in, another manager answered the phone, said, your manager isn't here yet, but it's okay. This will be your one freebie. And I said, I appreciate it. I came in the next day with full intentions of letting my manager know that I'm sorry and I didn't mean to bail on him last minute, but
I wonder what he does for a living.
A good time for me to come in due to the fact that I didn't check my schedule and I just didn't get sleep beforehand, and I didn't want to, run into any situation where I fall asleep driving or anything like that. And so as I come in to inform my manager about my apology, before I can even get anything out, he's immediately talking about how I didn't come in. And I try to explain my situation. He says it doesn't matter, and basically goes on to tell me about how my life outside of work does not matter because I am obligated to do whatever I have to do to come in and work for the grocery store. Also, at the time, my son was having some problems sleeping, so I wanted to stay home to help my wife with that as well. As soon as I mentioned my son, he said that your home life is something you have to have handled outside of work. That has nothing to do with me. And yeah, I think it's crazy to see how different managers, and I feel like corporate America in general just doesn't care about their employees. And when I say they don't care, it's whenever something is happening outside of work. Whatever life you have outside of that company, it's like they don't believe that life exists. And
Nobody cares. Just be honest with you. Nobody cares. Because, okay, so let me break it down from this perspective, right? Let's say you're the owner of the company, right? And I'm the type of person personally, which I care for my employees. I care what happened to my people. However, I'm not obligated to because I'm paying you for a specific job, right? And so if I'm meeting an expectation, and I think that this is the difference between people that look at themselves as workers and people that look at themselves as go-getters. The go-getters understand they move everything else around where it is that they trade their time in for money because that's the way in which you pay for your dreams. That's the thing ultimately that you use in order to feed what you're going to do long term. And so you kind of sort of paying your dues, right? If I'm a business owner, for example, because this is the difference between a person that works and a person that looks at their time and money differently. If I'm a business owner, and I use this example regularly, and let's say, for example, something happened at home, right? Whatever it is, it happened at home. And I own this brick and mortar store and I got this restaurant. And so people are looking to get their food or their orders or their catering orders or whatever. And they're looking to get their stuff. Guess what they care about as far as my home life? Nothing. Because if I don't open those doors at 11 a.m. and make sure that their orders or whatever it is that I said that I was going to do when I'm not over delivering, guess what? I lose business. I'll go a step further because everybody looks at it from an employee-employer relationship. Let's look at it from an owner-worker relationship. My people, whoever it is that work for me, whoever it is that depend on me, whoever it is that live stream with me, whoever it is that works for me as a developer, who works for me as an editor, who works for me as a contractor, they depend on me to make sure that their paychecks are there every other week. Every payday, that paycheck is there. Guess what? They don't care if my mother died. They don't care if my wife is divorcing me. They don't care if my kid is sick. You know what they care about? They got a car note, they got house notes, they got credit card bills, they got student loan payments, and they still got to pay for their stuff. And so if I don't over deliver and make sure that no matter what, that their paycheck is there and direct deposited on the day that they had already scheduled their auto pay to come out, ain't nobody checking for my family. And so whenever people start making it personal, I know that they don't necessarily have the mentality in order to be able to survive in today's economy because everything is capitalistic. And so I'm not saying that people shouldn't, even though I care about my people's family, I care about my people's health, I make sure that my people are taken care of, but they don't have a duty and an obligation to care about what you got going on outside of what they're responsible for you for. They got their own life, they got their own family in order to do it. I'm just telling you the truth. And the minute that you come to that conclusion, the minute that you start to understand that you are responsible for your own personal life, whatever happens outside of that, then you'll start to have more success when it comes to your financial life. Let me hear some more of what he got to say.
As soon as your hours start at whatever corporate job you're working, your life doesn't exist. And everything involved with your job is the utmost importance in your life. This was not a video I intended on making today, but just coming back from work, I really wanted to rant about this. And
again, this person's name is Matthew Mims. If you like his content or you want to check out more of it, make sure you go and visit his channel. I always like to highlight upcoming content creators.
I basically just want to let people know that it's okay to look out for your mental health. I am an entrepreneur and I know that, hustle culture says, you got to get that money, and I'm all about that. But if you're in a setting that is mentally wearing you down, it's not worth it. It will never be worth it in that case. And I think it's important for us as entrepreneurs to know that, if you're in a 9 to 5 that you're doing to fund your dream and your passion, make sure the 9 to 5 is something that you can handle physically and mentally. If you're working at a job to fund your business and it is just mentally draining, taking all your energy, taking your mental capacity, it's just taking up so much. It's just weighing down on you so much. You're not going to be able to put more energy and time into your business because your 9 to 5 is draining you so much. And also, don't let people tell you that your life doesn't matter. This man told me that what was going on with my son did not matter.
Yeah, he said, fuck your feelings. Respectfully. Hey, man, listen, I got a son of my own, man. Like, I don't care about your Am I too hard? Am I? I don't give a fuck about what you got going on in your life. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to tell me what's going on in your life. Listen, you want to take a health day or whatever, you got extra PTO, cool, utilize it. Give me 24-hour heads up or whatever, unless it's an emergency, and we can go from there. But I genuinely don't care. I don't even want to know if you married or not. I don't even want to know your personal life. I don't want to do none of that. Honestly, I don't care. Listen, are we here to get this money or we not? Because if not, then we got to figure something out. If so, then the pleasantries is just a part of it. That's extra.
The craziest thing about this is he has kids. With me having my son, I don't know how I could ever look at someone else and be like, yeah, whatever's going on with your kid doesn't matter. But one thing I did find out is that he's been working in the grocery industry for over 30 years. So, I feel like some people get so caught up in their line of work, they feel like that really is what's most important, which obviously is not true. No one is going to tell me that stocking a grocery store is more important than my family.
Cool. So I'm hoping that you got all your ducks in a row. I'm hoping that all of your finances, because see, I don't believe in just quitting a job for the sake of quitting a job. I believe that you strategically plan, you leave on good terms, and you make sure you got something else lined up, and you don't just make an emotional decision. And so I've always believed that it's okay to have emotions. We all have emotions, but you cannot make a business decision based off of how you feel emotionally at that particular time. Let me say that again. Maybe some people haven't been through enough, but I've been through it. I've seen what it felt like to lose everything. I've seen what it felt like not to be able to feed your family. I'm very appreciative of every single opportunity that I get. And so for me, it's a little bit different because, I just don't take it for granted. And I'm always planning. If I don't like what's going on here, okay, well, I'm going to line something else up. I'm going to get another job. I'm going to get another opportunity. I'm going to apply for something else. I'm going to get something else lined up. And then I'm going to give you 2 weeks notice before I get up out of here to make sure that we can get a replacement, and I'm going to leave on good terms. That way I always have a relationship and I'm always in a good space with whoever it is that I'm dealing with, regardless of how I feel about you. So I'm going to be professional and I'm going to take care of business and everything. But I'm never, ever going to make an emotional decision when it comes to my bag. I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to be strategic and I'm going to plan it out. That's just me personally.
That's absolutely insane. If you're in a position or at a job where you feel like there is a higher up or somebody that is constantly just hounding you about your outside life and just doesn't allow you to thrive outside of work, or cuts you down whenever something happens outside of work that is important to you, you should probably leave. Because jobs like that, they don't see you as a human. They just see you as some sort of robot that just is only supposed to come in, have no emotion, and is only supposed to focus on the job. Which is crazy because we're literally all humans. We all have emotions. We all have lives. We all have experiences and things outside of our line of work. And it's important to make sure that you hold those things dear and true to yourself. If my wife has an emergency, I don't care who tells me that's not important. I will go and run as fast as I can to help my wife out. And the same goes for you.
No, I need to know the context of the emergency. Hey, you got an emergency? What's going on? Oh, my girlfriend pissed me off. Oh, okay, baby, listen, take a nap. I'll see you when I get home from work. I'm not, unless it's a life event or it's a problem, I will see you when I get home. I am not at your beck and call, and I could tell people who are new to this game. Emergency. Ain't nobody else you can call?
Don't let anybody tear you down and make you feel like you as a person and your life outside of work isn't valuable, because it is. By the way, how are you guys liking the outside video shot, like office shots I do? But I took my dog out to use the bathroom this morning, and I was like, it looks pretty crazy, this thing to do, but I'm going to shoot this video. But that was just something I really had on my heart. Corporate America can really feel like a killer to an entrepreneur sometimes, you know? As entrepreneurs, sometimes we have to take that job in order to fund our dreams. And, you know, it's not the most easy thing to do, but sometimes it's the thing we have to do. And one thing I will say is, working a job you don't like to work to build a business or to build a dream or a career that you actually want to do, what I will say is I feel like it's something all entrepreneurs must do, because it builds this kind of motivation in your spirit where you're like, I don't ever want to do this again. And then when times get hard, you can think back to those moments where it's like, yeah, I'm never going to do this again. Because that moment where he told me my life outside of work doesn't matter made me want to be my own boss so bad. And it's like, I never want to work for somebody who can have this kind of opinion and say these kind of things towards me. So
why? You still going to be working for people that don't give a fuck about you. What, you thought that having your own business and being your own boss mean that people ain't going to have criticism and feel some type of way about you that's basically your boss? Because everybody is being compensated based off of the value that they have. Look, when you become an entrepreneur, contrary to popular belief, you have a whole lot of bosses all of a sudden. Because that one Yelp review where somebody feeling some type of way and you didn't provide the type of customer service that they wanted, automatically then becomes your boss. When Keith Lee come through and you out there hustle culture, listen, I bet you if you having an emergency and your kid can't sleep and you own a business, and if Keith Lee, you found out somehow, some way that ahead of time Keith Lee was coming through in order to change the fortunes of your family, I bet you would be there. I bet you your boss Keith Lee would get you there. Listen. I'm just being real. I have to put a counter narrative out there to help y'all to understand that nobody cares about your feelings. Nobody. And they're not supposed to. But you have to capitalize and leverage. Man, I will never forget what my high school assistant principal told me, Ms. Gatlin. She says, success is when opportunity meets preparation. Success is when opportunity meets preparation. It's not off how you feel. It's when opportunity, meaning that it's going to come occasionally, periodically, meets preparation. I'm ready for it. So you just going to be sitting at the crib kicking your feet up all the time, big dog? No job, no nothing because you got your emotions?
You know, just work hard to get out of that situation, whatever you can do. Because as a creative, you know, and as an entrepreneur, we're really meant to work for ourselves. We don't need someone, you know, telling us our lives don't matter. We don't need people in our life telling us that we're not valuable. It's just harmful negativity you don't need in your life at all. So, you know, work hard to get out of that situation immediately. Like me, as soon as that happened, I immediately started looking for other jobs. Definitely want to give God the glory and honor for creating this video. I hope and pray that this video gets to someone that needs to hear this. And, you know, if you resonate with this, thank you for taking the time to stop and watch. Comment down below here, worked a job, and comment the situation you went through that, you know, in the comments below. A video you like, please make sure to like and
all right, so again, his name is Matthew Mims. I like to highlight the fellow content creators, whether I agree with him or I don't agree with him. And he said he quit his job, and that's that.